Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Learn English with the Bible. Imagine this for a moment. You are hiding. You are in a beautiful palace, but you are hiding who you really are. You are safe and quiet. Then you hear news, a terrible news. All of your people, your family, everyone you love, they are in danger. They will be destroyed. One question burns in your mind. Do I stay silent and stay safe? Or do I speak and risk everything, even my own life? Our story today takes us to the ancient city of Susa, a city of shadows and light, a city of silence and whispers. This is the story of a young woman named Esther. She was an orphan, a secret keeper, and a queen. Her story is about one life, one choice, and the weight of a nation. But before we begin, friends, if you enjoy learning English with beautiful, simple stories, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It is a small thing for you, but it helps me very much. It helps me create more of these stories for your learning journey. Thank you. Our story begins a long time ago. The year, approximately 480 before Christ. The place, Susa. Susa was the capital city of the great Persian Empire. A powerful king named Xerxes ruled from his throne. He was one of the most powerful men in the world. His word was law. Living in this empire were the Jewish people. They were not in their homeland. They were exiles living in a foreign land. In Susa, there lived a Jewish man named Mordecai. He was a good man who worked at the king's gate. He had a cousin, a young girl named Hadassah, but everyone called her Esther. Esther was an orphan. Her mother and father had died, and Mordecai had raised her as his own daughter. They had a simple, humble life. But there was a secret. Esther was Jewish. In the palace city, she did not tell anyone. She kept her identity hidden. Now, the king, Xerxes, had a problem. His queen, Queen Vashti, had disobeyed him. The king became very angry and he made a decision. Vashti could never come before him again. He needed a new queen. So the king's servants went throughout the land. They searched for the most beautiful young women in the empire. They were to be brought to the palace in Susa. Imagine the scene. Soldiers come to Mordecai's simple home. They see Esther. She is kind and beautiful. And so Esther is taken. She is taken from her home, from her cousin, and brought to the king's palace. Can you see her fear? She was a simple girl from a small village. Now she was inside a great palace. Everything was new and opulent. There were tall marble columns, soft carpets, and beautiful gardens. But she was afraid. For 1 full year, the women prepared to meet the king. They received special oils and perfumes. Through all of this, Esther remembered her secret. She did not tell anyone she was Jewish. Mordecai had told her to keep it quiet, and she obeyed. Finally, it was her turn to go to the king. When the king saw Esther, he loved her. He loved her more than all the other women. She was kind. She was humble. She was beautiful. So the king placed the royal crown on her head. Esther, the orphan girl, became the queen of Persia. Life in the palace was good for Esther, but a shadow was growing. There was a man named Haman. He was a high official, and the king respected him greatly. The king commanded that everyone at the palace gate must bow down to Haman. Everyone showed Haman respect. Everyone except one man, Mordecai. Mordecai was a Jew, and he worshipped only God. He would not bow to any man. This made Haman burn with anger. He was so proud, and Mordecai's refusal made him furious. Haman did not just want to punish Mordecai. No, his anger was too big for that. He decided to destroy Mordecai's entire people. All the Jews in the empire? Haman went to the king with a lie. He said, "There is a certain people scattered among your people. Their laws are different. They do not obey your laws. It is not good for you to let them live here." He did not say they were the Jews. The king, not knowing the truth, trusted his official. He took his royal ring and gave it to Haman. He said, "Do what you want with these people." A decree was written. It was sealed with the king's ring. The decree said that on a single day, all Jewish people, men, women, and children, were to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. The word annihilate means to be completely wiped out, gone forever. The decree was sent to every part of the empire. When the people heard this news, there was great confusion, but for the Jews there was great horror and weeping. When Mordecai learned of the decree, he was filled with grief. He tore his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes. Sackcloth is rough, sad clothing. Ashes are dirt. He sat at the king's gate, weeping loudly. Esther, in her safe, quiet palace rooms, heard that Mordecai was wearing sackcloth. She was confused. She sent a servant to ask him, "Why are you so sad?" Mordecai sent a message back to Esther. He told her everything. He sent her a copy of the decree, and he gave her a command. "You must go to the king. You must beg for mercy for our people." This filled Esther with fear. She sent a message back to Mordecai. She explained the law. "Everyone knows," she said, "that if any person goes to the king in the inner court without being called, the penalty is death. The only exception is if the king holds out his golden scepter to them, and the king has not called me for 30 days. She was afraid. To go to the king uninvited was to risk her life. Then Mordecai sent his most famous message. It was a challenge. He said, "Do not think that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Jews. For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance from another place. But who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Mordecai was saying. "Esther, maybe this is your purpose. Maybe God made you queen for this very moment, to save your people." This changed everything. Esther sent her final reply. She asked Mordecai to gather all the Jews in Susa and fast for her. "I and my young women will also fast as you do. Then I will go to the king, though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish." Perish is a simple word. It means to die. Esther was saying, "I am so scared, but I will do this. I will do my duty, and if I die, I die." For 3 days the Jews fasted and prayed. Esther and her servants did the same. On the 3rd day, the morning came. This was the morning of her decision. Esther put on her royal robes. She looked beautiful, but inside, her heart was pounding with fear. She walked alone down the long, cold hall to the throne room. Every step was heavy with fear. She entered the inner court of the palace, and she stood there waiting in sight of the king. She was breaking the law. The king was sitting on his royal throne, facing the entrance. He looked up. He saw Queen Esther standing there. His face changed. It was a law. Who was this to come without being called? For one terrible second, time stood still. The king's face showed his anger. But then he looked at her. He saw her standing there, so brave, yet so afraid, and his heart was filled with love for her. He held out the golden scepter that was in his hand. He pointed it towards her. This was the sign. She was safe. Esther walked forward, her heart full of thanks, and she touched the tip of the scepter. The king spoke, his voice gentle. "What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even if it is half of my kingdom, it will be given to you." Now Esther showed great wisdom. She did not ask for her life right away. She simply said, "If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to a feast that I have prepared for him." The king agreed. So that day, the king and Haman went to Esther's feast. At the feast, the king asked again, "What is your request? It will be given to you." Esther answered, "My request is this. If I have found favor in the sight of the king, that the king and Haman come again tomorrow to another feast. Then I will answer the king's question." Haman left the feast that day full of happiness and pride. He was the only one invited to dine with the king and queen. But on his way home, he saw Mordecai, who still did not bow to him, and his happiness turned to anger. His wife suggested he build a tall pole or gallows to hang Mordecai on. Haman loved this idea. He built the gallows that very night. That same night, the king could not sleep. He had his servant read to him from the history books. The servant read about a time when Mordecai had saved the king's life from a plot to kill him. The king asked, "Was Mordecai ever honored for this?" The servant said, "No, nothing was done for him." The next morning, Haman arrived at the palace, planning to ask the king for permission to hang Mordecai. But before he could speak, the king asked him, "What should be done for a man the king wishes to honor?" Haman, thinking the king meant him, described a great ceremony. The king then said, "Go and do this for Mordecai the Jew." Imagine Haman's horror. He had to honor the man he hated. After this, Haman went to Esther's second banquet, his heart filled with shame and anger. At the banquet, the king asked again, "Queen Esther, what is your request? It will be granted." This was the moment. Esther took a deep breath. She spoke, "Let my life be granted me for my wish, and my people for my request. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be killed, and to be annihilated." The king was shocked. He was furious. "Who is he?" he demanded. "Who would dare to do such a thing?" Esther pointed. "A foe and an enemy, this wicked Haman." The king was so angry he had to leave the room. Haman, in fear, fell on the couch where Esther was, begging for his life. When the king returned, he saw Haman so close to the queen. This made him even more angry. One of the king's servants said, "Haman has built a gallows for Mordecai, who saved the king's life." The king ordered, "Hang him on it." And so Haman was hanged on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. But the first decree, the evil one, could not be changed. So the king allowed a new decree to be written. This decree gave the Jewish people the right to gather and defend themselves. When the day came for the attack, the Jews fought back and were saved. Sorrow turned into joy. Weeping turned into celebration. This is why the Jewish people celebrate the festival of Purim. It is a day of joy, feasting, and remembering their deliverance. Mordecai became a great leader, second only to the king. And Esther? Esther was a young woman who found her courage. She found her voice. And she saved a nation. So what can we learn from Esther? We learn about courage, real courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Esther was very afraid. She could have died. But true courage is being afraid and acting anyway. It is feeling the fear and then taking a step forward. We also learn about purpose. Esther's story shows us that we are not accidents. We are placed in our families, our schools, our jobs for a reason. Maybe you are here right now for a purpose, for such a time as this. And I think this connects to you, my friend, and your English learning journey. Learning a new language can feel like a big, scary challenge. It can feel like walking into the king's throne room, uninvited. It is scary. You might feel small, like an orphan from a small village. You might be afraid to make a mistake. But you have a purpose. Every new word you learn, every sentence you practice is a step of courage. Do not be silent. Speak. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Your voice is important. You have your own such a time as this. Thank you so much for watching and learning with me today. I hope you enjoyed the story of Esther. If this video helped you learn, please click the like button. And if you want to continue learning English with beautiful stories, please subscribe. I would love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what does Esther's courage teach you? And where are you watching from? Until our next story from the Bible, keep learning, be brave, and take care of yourselves and each other. Goodbye for now, my friends.